Hello friends, it's Miss Jamie. I'm so happy to see you today. Let's get started with our song with Miss Nancy. I like to make music with you. Here she is.
This is I Like to Make Music from The Seasons. I like to make music, yes I do. I like to make music with you. I like to make music, yes I do. I like to make music with you. I can clap my hands, clap, clap, clap. I can clap my hands, clap, clap, clap. I like to make music, yes I do. I like to make music with you. I can pat my knees, pat, pat, pat. I can pat my knees, pat, pat, pat. And I can clap my hands, clap, clap, clap. I can clap my hands, clap, clap, clap. I like to make music, yes I do. I like to make music with you. I can and I can pat my knees, pat, pat, pat. I can pat my knees, pat, pat, pat. And I can clap my hands, clap, clap, clap. I can clap my hands, clap, clap, clap. I like to make music, yes I do. I like to make music with you. I can and I can and I can pat my knees, pat, 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 pat my knees, pat, pat, pat. And I can clap my hands, clap, clap, clap. Yes, I can clap my hands, clap, clap, clap. I like to make music, yes I do. I like to make music with you.
Thank you, Miss Nancy. Should we wake up Betsy Blackbird? Call her 1, 2, 3. Say, Betsy, where are you? Come on out, Betsy Blackbird. You and I are twins today. We both have on a hat and a scarf. Isn't that fun? Hello, friends. How are you? Hello, Betsy. How are you? Hello, Miss Jamie. How are you? We're so glad to see you. Here, here. We're all here. Here, here. We're all here. Here, here. We're all here. We're all here together. Yay! Can you guess what we're going to talk about today? Today we're talking about all of the special clothes we have to wear in the winter to keep our body warm when it's cold outside. Right, Betsy? Do you like it when it's cold? Not really? A little bit? Not really? A little bit? Oh, you silly bird. What do you wear when you go outside and it's cold? Do you have any special clothes you have to put on to keep your body warm? That's what we're going to talk about today. One of the first things that we might wear when it gets cold outside is something on our hands to keep them warm. Maybe a mitten. Mittens are the kind that cover all of your fingers together. Or maybe you might wear gloves. Gloves are the kind that the fingers are separate. We have to wear mittens and gloves to keep our hands warm. If it's snowing and you're cold, you wear some gloves. If it's snowing and you're cold, you wear some gloves. If it's snowing and you're cold and your hands are froze to the bone. If it's snowing and you're cold, you wear some gloves. Good. What else should we wear if it's cold and snowy outside? How about a hat? Yes. What part of your body does the hat keep warm? Can you tell me? Your head. You're right. If it's snowing and you're cold, you wear a hat. If it's snowing and you're cold, you wear a hat. If it's snowing and you're cold and your head is froze to the bone. If it's snowing and you're cold, you wear a hat. Good job. And what is this part here that I have on? Do you know what this winter clothing is called? You can put it around your neck like Miss Jamie had hers around her neck, and Betsy has a yellow one around her neck. Do you know what this is called? This is do you know? It's a scarf, and you can wrap it around your neck to keep your neck warm. If it's snowing and you're cold, you wear a scarf. If it's snowing and you're cold, you wear a scarf. If it's snowing and you're cold and your neck is froze to the bone. If it's snowing and you're cold, you wear a scarf. Well done. What else do we have to wear if it's snowing and you're cold? What would you wear on your feet? Do you know? Special boots. Yes, these special boots will keep your feet warm. Can you sing that one with me? If it's snowing and you're cold, you wear some boots. If it's snowing and you're cold, you wear some boots. If it's snowing and you're cold and your feet are froze to the bone. If it's snowing and you're cold, you wear some boots. Good. And what's the last thing we have to wear if it's really cold outside to keep our body warm? What do you wear if it's really cold? Do you know? How about a coat? Yes, you might have a special warm winter snow coat that will keep your arms and your back and your belly and your whole body warm. Let's sing If It's Snowing and You're Cold, You Wear a Coat. Can you sing that one with me? If it's snowing and you're cold, you wear a coat. If it's snowing and you're cold, you wear a coat. If it's snowing and you're cold and your body's froze to the bone. If it's snowing and you're cold, you wear a coat. Good job. Those are all the special winter clothes we have to wear to keep our bodies warm when the temperature drops and it might start to snow outside. But when we're getting dressed to go outside, that's a lot of things to put on, isn't it? And it's important that we put them on in order. If we put on our mittens first, we're never going to be able to figure out how to do our boots or the zipper on our coat. So we have to think, what goes first, next, then, and last? And if we put the things on in order, it will be a little bit easier. Let me show you what I mean. Here's a friend who wants to go outside to play, but he needs to put on his winter clothes. And so we're going to put them on in order, and the order goes like this. Boots, coat, hat, and mittens, hat and mittens, boots, coat, hat, and mittens, hat and mittens. Put these on in the right order. Boots, coat, hat, and mittens, hat and mittens. We have to put them on so that we don't put our mittens on first and get stuck. Let's first put on our boots. We can take these off and cover up his feet to keep them warm. Sometimes if it's really snowy, you have to put on snow pants first. He already has his snow pants on. So we'll start with boots. Boots are number 1. Good. What comes next? Which one is number 2? Can you read it? Number 2 is his coat. Yes, let's turn. It says next we need to put on our, say it, coat. Yes, well done. Next goes his coat. So he has boots, coat, hat comes next. You're right. Let's turn the page and put on his, whoops, hat. Hat comes next. Here it comes. That will keep his head nice and warm. So we have boots, coat, hat, and his hands are still out. They're going to get cold. So what comes next? Read it. Mittens. Yes. Let's turn to the last page. And last, he needs his mittens. Now we can sing the whole thing. Boots, coat, hat, and mittens, hat and mittens. Boots, coat, hat, and mittens, hat and mittens. Put them on in the right order. Boots, coat, hat, and mittens, hat and mittens. The mittens have to go last, so you are ready to go outside for winter. Do you think you can remember that? Sometimes friends like to put their mittens on first because that's the most fun part. But then you don't have your hands ready to do the boots. So we have to think first boots, coat, hat, mittens. Yes, maybe next time you're ready to go outside, you can plan a few extra minutes and try to do those things all by yourself. That will sure be a big help to your grown-ups if you can get dressed to go outside all by yourself. That's what big kids do. I'm so proud of you for always working hard. Would you like to play a little game with me? This game is called Where's the Snowflake? And we're going to hide a snowflake behind one of the mittens. These mittens are all different colors, and they each have a letter on them. Do you know these letters? This one is M for mitten. Well done. And do you know this one? I. The little I has a dot on the top. Do you see that? I. And then we have two letters that are the same. T on a yellow mitten and T on an orange mitten. Do you know the next letter? E. Well done. And the last letter is N. Yes, the way we spell mitten is like this. M-I-T-T-E-N. Will you say the letters with me? Here goes. M-I-T-T-E-N. You're good at that. And I'm going to hide the little snowflake. But no peeking. You can peek over here at the boy putting his winter clothes on. Okie dokie. Snowflake, snowflake, where can it be? Pick a mitten and we will see. Which mitten would you like to look under first? Tell me. N, the very last mitten? Let's look and see. The snowflake was not under the letter N. Keep guessing. Which one should we check next? Shout really loud so I can hear you. You like I with the dot? Okay, we can check I. The snowflake was not under the letter I. Let's keep guessing. Where could it be? M, the very first one, the blue M. Let's look and see. Wasn't under the M. Is it under yellow T, orange T, or the gray E? Where's the snowflake? Yellow T? I hear lots of friends yelling, yellow! Good guessing. Let's check and see. You found the snowflake. It was under the yellow T. Well done. Would you like to play one more time? M-I-T-T-E-N. That's how we spell mitten. And should I hide the snowflake? No peeking. It's hiding. Snowflake, snowflake, where can it be? Pick a mitten and we will see. What's your first guess? Oh, I hear lots of guesses. How about orange tea? I hear lots of friends yelling, orange, orange tea. Let's see. Nope, it's not behind the orange tea. Which one should we check next? M. Okay, lots of friends are shouting blue. M. Nope, not the blue M. Which one should we check next? E. Let's look and see. You found the snowflake. It was hiding behind the gray E. Well done. Give yourself a brain kiss. Brain, that was so smart. Good job guessing the letters and the colors. So excited about the book I'm going to read to you today. It is a classic winter book. And a classic means that lots of people know this book because it's so good. This book is by Jan Brett, and it's called The Mitten. Can you tell where this story takes place? Is it on a farm? No. Is it in the ocean? No. Where does it take place? In the woods. Yes. Did you say out in the forest or the woods? And what happens in this story is there's a little boy named Nicky, and his grandma makes him 2 white mittens. She does not want him to lose the mittens, but Nicky does lose one of the mittens. And guess who finds it? Let's read The Mitten by Jan Brett. Here's the title page, The Mitten, a Ukrainian folktale by Jan Brett. There's Nicky going out the door. One of the things I love about this book is you can see on each page a little peek into the page before and the page after. So it will help you make predictions about what's going to happen. Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool as white as snow. At first, his grandmother, Baba, did not want to knit white mittens. If you drop one in the snow, she warned, you'll never find it. But Nicky wanted snow white mittens. And finally, Baba made them. Do you see how she's knitting them out of yarn? After she finished, she said, when you come home, first I will look to see if you are safe and sound, but then I will look to see if you still have your snow white mittens. So off Nicky went, and it wasn't long until one of his mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind. Do you see it down there? It's camouflage. It blends right into the snow. And do you see this animal coming to find it? A mole, tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed inside. It was cozy and warm and just the right size, so he decided to stay. A mole fit right inside his mitten. And can you tell what's coming next? Yep. A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for a moment to admire his winter coat. It was then that he saw the mitten, and he wiggled in feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both of them, but when he saw the rabbit's big kickers, He moved over. And who's coming next? Yep. Next, a hedgehog shuffling along spied the next. A hedgehog came snuffling along. Having spent the day looking under wet leaves for things to eat, he decided to move into the mitten to warm himself. The mole and the rabbit were bumped and jostled, but not being one to argue with someone covered with prickles, they made room. And who's coming next? An owl? Will an owl fit inside that mitten? We'll see. As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down. When he decided to move in also, the mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled. But when they saw the owl's glinty talons, they quickly let him in. And can you tell from the picture which animal is going to come next? Do you know what that little black and white animal is called? Up through the snow appeared a badger. He eyed the mitten and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl were not pleased. There was no room left, but when they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumb. They said, "You can sleep in the thumb of the mitten." And which animal is coming next? Do you think that fox is going to fit in the mitten too? The mitten keeps stretching bigger and bigger. Let's see. It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose in the air, and a fox trotting by stopped to investigate. Just the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy. The fox poked his muzzle in. When the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave the fox lots of room. Will he squeeze in there? And will this bear fit in there too? A great bear lumbered by. He spied the mitten all plumped up. Not being one to be left out in the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed in as tightly as could be, but what animal could argue with a bear? The mitten swelled and stretched. It was pulled and bulged to many times its size, but Baba's good knitting held fast. That big bear is going to fit in that little white mitten? Wow! And who's coming next? A teeny tiny little mouse. Will the mouse fit in the mitten too? Along came a meadow mouse, no bigger than an acorn. She wriggled into the one space left and made herself comfortable on top of the great bear's nose. And do you see in the sidebar pictures how Nikki all of a sudden realizes, oh no, I only have one mitten. I lost my other mitten. He just realized it. The bear, tickled by the mouse's whiskers, gave an enormous sneeze. Achoo! The force of the sneeze shot the mitten up into the air and scattered the animals in all directions. Look at them all. They all popped out of that mitten. I wonder if Nikki will find it. On his way home, Nikki saw a white shape in the distance. It was the lost mitten, silhouetted against the blue sky. And all of the animals are scattered out in the snow with no warm place to sleep. As he ran to catch his snow-white mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. First, she looked to see if he was safe and sound. And then she saw that he still had his new mittens. But look what happens when Nikki gets inside with Baba and shows her the mittens. Do you see? This is the mitten that he was wearing. And what happened to the other mitten? It's so big. It's not the same as the small mitten, is it? Because the animals stretched it out. And they're both wondering, what happened to that mitten? How did that happen? Isn't that a wonderful book? It's one of my favorite winter books of all time. Let me show you a project you can make at home all about mittens. I am going to show you how you can make your own painted mittens. One of the things about mittens is that they're both the same. Usually if you have two mittens, both sides look exactly the same. And so I'm going to show you how you can paint your own mittens that will look exactly the same. To do this project, you just need a piece of paper. It can be any size paper, any color you can choose, and some paint. And you can choose what color, you can choose what kind of paint you want to do. To do this project, you might have a grown-up help you fold your paper in half like this. And then you're going to open it up. And do you see the fold right down the middle? We're going to drip some paint right near the fold on both sides. We don't want to put too much paint around the outside, and I'll show you why. So I have 4 different colors of paint. I brought some green paint, and I'm just going to do it right out of the bottle. I'll do a couple of drips, drip, 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 drip. And some, I like this turquoise blue. It's like the color of the sky. It reminds me of winter time. In the winter, the sky is so blue. Miss Jamie dropped her paint on the floor. That's never good. Try not to drop your paint on the floor. And I have some red paint. I think this is like magenta red. And I'm just going to drip, 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 drip. Not big drips. You don't need a lot of paint for this project. If you use a lot of paint, it might get too messy. So you probably don't want to use a lot of paint. And then I'm going to put a little bit of yellow. Ooh. And you can use a paintbrush, or you could use your fingers and do some finger painting. And it's going to look like this. And then I'm going to show you what to do to make it look like symmetrical mittens. You're going to fold your paper in half, and then you have to smush it and roll it with your hands. Smush and roll, smush and roll. You can use a rolling pin, or you could just smush it with your hands like this. Watch what happens when I open up the paper. Are you ready? Set. Whoa! You have a symmetrical painting. Symmetrical means it's the same on the left and the right. There's a green dot on the left and a green dot on the right. Pink on the left, pink on the right. Do you see that? And then you're going to let your paper dry like this. When it's all dry, you can, here's one I did earlier with Betsy. You can draw a mitten shape on your paper, keep it folded together, and then cut it out with scissors. And your grown-up might help you with that. And when you cut your mitten out, it will look like this. And watch what happens when I open it. I have 2 mittens. I tied these together with some yarn, and I'm going to hang them on my fridge so Betsy can see our artwork that we made together. If you make some symmetrical mittens like these, would you take a picture and show me? Betsy and I always love to see your artwork because you're so creative. Well, friends, I had fun talking about mittens and gloves and hats and scarves. And I hope if it's cold where you are that you're nice and warm when you go outside to play. Will you help me call Betsy back? 1, 2, 3. Say, Betsy, come back. Come on, Betsy bird. Hello, friends. I had fun learning about mittens and gloves today, didn't you, Betsy? Do you have any mittens? No, why not? Betsy doesn't have any hands. She only has a hat and a scarf. That's right. That keeps you warm. No boots either? No. Preschool time is over now. Over now. Over now. Preschool time is over now for another day. Wave goodbye to all of our friends, all of our friends, all of our friends. Wave goodbye to all of our friends. It's time to stay home and play. Hip, hip, hooray! Do you have any birdseed for Betsy? Oh, she sure would love that. And here's your play pack for Mittens and Gloves Day. There are some more pictures. There's a link here. You can see some more pictures of how to do the mitten project and some other fun ideas for things you can do at home with your grown-up after the video is over. All right, here's Betsy's favorite part. Birdseed time. Throw it this way. Thank you for the bird seed. And if you'd like to catch Betsy's kiss, hold your hand out like this. Catch it. Stick it to your cheek. Give yourself a big hug. From Miss Jamie and Betsy, we think you're awesome. And we will see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye, friends.